Welcome, Auburn Road.
Hi.
Please have a seat. That's awesome. And that is a song on your soon-to-be released EP?
Yes. We have 2 volumes coming out called Mustang, and they will be released. The first volume is going to be released in the next couple of months. We're very excited.
Yep.
Fantastic. So let's get a little bit of background. Where did everybody grow up, and how did you get involved in music? Who were some of your initial inspirations?
Well, we all grew up in the Sacramento area. I'm from Roseville.
Elk Grove.
Roseville. I know I grew up, my dad played all old country for me when I was little, like Willie Nelson, Loretta Lynn, Patti Page, all those. So that's what I grew up on.
I grew up on a lot of country music as well, like the names you listed, but also a lot of rock and pop. I kind of grew up listening to everything.
Me too. I mean, I grew up with a lot of rock. My dad was a big 80s rock fan, but we also loved Garth Brooks and Reba McEntire in my house.
Yeah, that's amazing. Garth's going to be playing at Stagecoach.
Yes, the same.
And that's Sunday night.
That's so crazy.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, how did you guys come together?
Oh my
How did you
gosh.
meet, and
Yeah, it's
how
kind of,
did gel?
it's kind of crazy because we actually grew up at the same singing studio. When we were 8 years old, we
Yep.
met. And we did performance classes together, and we performed at Disneyland and like this bigger performance group. And we just have been bonding since we were little girls, and we've just been like sisters ever since.
So you found your voices blended well together, and
yeah.
there was a chemistry personally, you
Yeah,
know.
So we chose to
Yeah.
come
It
together.
really started as friends. Like,
Yeah.
we were really close. And then I feel like one day we're just like, let's just start a group.
Yeah. I don't think we knew back then like what it really was.
No.
You know?
Sure. Well, you do it for fun to begin with, and you cover other
Exactly.
people's songs. Now, how did it evolve into creating original music? What was the first steps? What was the trial and error
I
to
think
come
that
up
we
with your
really
own?
started writing when we got our manager, Michael.
Yeah.
And then the more we got into music and wanting to do it as a career, we realized that we had our own stories that we wanted to tell.
Right.
And so then, well, there's no better way to do that than to write your own music.
Yeah, exactly.
That's incredible. So now, obviously, you had Fancy come out, and that was your first EP.
Yes.
Yes.
What was that experience like to finally have your music released and have people share it?
It was crazy because you always grow up thinking about writing songs and recording them, and that was the first time we ever did it.
Ever wrote anything?
Anything, ever
Recorded,
stepped in front of a
like-
real recording mic and then had to go through the process of singing it again, or the tough things that nobody tells you about when you write a record or you record a record. And it was really stories about us growing up, and so it felt really personal to us
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
every song was something that we were going through at that time. Like,
And we were about 15, 16 years old.
yeah, like This Road was our song about leaving home for the first time and going out and experiencing something different. So when we wrote that, it was really emotional, and recording it was just the same. It was an awesome experience.
Yeah, it was definitely a learning process, and we all grew as people making that album.
Yeah, well, I know you've had a chance to be on a lot of stages, play with different artists, different events, and things like that. I understand you had a residency. You were out at the LA County Fair for a week.
Yeah, we're doing that
was so
again
much
this
fun.
year.
Is
Actually,
that right?
Yeah.
So that's the stage right in the middle of the fair, and
Yeah, I'm not sure what stage we're doing this year, but
Okay.
last year we were on the country stage, which was
Okay.
kind of far back.
okay.
It was where all the dust was, and it was fun. But
That's
this year
amazing.
we're on a different
So
stage.
you do a set every day?
We would do four sets every day.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And they were all about 15 minutes apart.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're about 30 minutes to 45. So that was like that was probably the hardest gig that we've ever done.
Yeah.
It prepared us a lot because now we're like, oh, nothing's gonna be as hard as
Yeah.
that.
But it was so fun because we got to try different things as we're performing, because you have a
Yeah.
different crowd every show, or
Yeah.
you'd have people who would start to come back, and you're like, oh, that worked in the last
Yeah.
show, we'll do that again. But
Yeah.
it was just a chance to really experiment with how we wanted to
Yeah.
perform.
You kind of dial it in, what worked,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
it's a combination of originals and covers.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
That's amazing. Any other standout shows so far?
Ooh.
Last year we actually got to do the national anthem at Staples Center.
That was
That
really
was
cool.
That
really cool.
was very surreal.
Yeah.
Because before we came and we did sound check, and the arena was empty. Mm-hmm. And so that alone is super amazing.
Yeah, it was
And then they're like, oh, we're going to take you into the back like until the game starts. And just being back there where you know that all the legendary performers who have performed there have been,
Yeah.
that's one of the most surreal moments
Yeah,
ever.
it was very cool.
Now, what game was that for?
The LA Sparks.
Yep.
Okay.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that's a big crowd.
Yeah.
Beautiful
It
stuff.
was really cool.
So now, as far as writing for the new Mustang EPs. What's that process been like? You know, have you grown as writers? And
Absolutely. I feel like
how do you feel that the next record is going to be your best?
it has definitely, our writing has grown up with us.
Yeah.
So you, like, when we wrote Fancy, we were 15, 16 years old, and as we wrote this album, we're growing up, and, like, we have, so, Fancy, we had a song called Tough Girl, and that was our women empowerment song, and it was our 15, 16-year-old girl women empowerment song, and this album we have a song called Mustang, and that's really our version of, our grown-up version of Tough Girl.
Yeah.
And that really shows you, like, where our songwriting has gone. It's...
We've really taken the experiences we've had since the last album, because, you know, we're 15, 16, we still haven't done everything, and then now we obviously still haven't done
still
everything.
young.
But we're still young and we're still maturing, and there's other situations that we've never been in that we have now, and we have to write about them, and it's coming from a different place, from different sides of the stories that you hear about. Like, we have one of my favorite songs on Volume 2, it's called Two Sides. And it's basically talking about any relationship that ended in a bad way, and then two people telling the same story, but different. Like, no, it's like there's two sides to every story, but one is being heard more than the other. And it's really, lyrically, it's very interesting because it's a different side that you wouldn't hear normally.
It was really important to us when we wrote both Volume 1 and Volume 2, is to show, because we're young women in country, and usually you hear about a young woman getting her heart broken and she's gonna cry, or she's having fun, and both are extremely true, and we have those songs on our album, but we have songs where when a girl gets her heart broken, she doesn't always cry. Sometimes it turns out to be a better situation, like it was a breakup for the right reasons. Sometimes she gets mad. Like, there's so many different emotions that go through a girl's head, and we wanted to write as many of those songs as we could.
Absolutely.
Now, as developing songwriters and artists, who were some of the artists that are out there today you individually look up to that kind of inspires you?
Hands down.
Yeah, I think we all look up to
my
Mary for
gosh.
sure.
What is it about her songs that touch you?
Her songs, what I love, so I'm using her album Hero as an example. There's not one song on that album where, like, I'm like, oh, I'm not a big fan of that one. That album, there's a song that's relevant in your life in different periods. Like, sometimes you're like, oh, that's my favorite song because that's what I'm going through. She hit every single mark.
She's very real about her songwriting. Like, it's not surface level. She really digs into what she's feeling and what she's talking about. So when you listen to her music, you understand, and you're like, whoa, I feel that too. Which we obviously respect. We'd love to write like that.
Yeah, we'd want to write with her one day. That's like one of our goals.
It's a goal.
So, as artists, you want to be, you know, you want people to feel the catchy music and sing along, but at the same time you want to have a message. You want
Exactly.
to touch them deeper than just the surface song. That's great. Now, obviously, we're all leading up to the Stagecoach performance.
Yes.
And, you know, we've just had 2 incredible weekends of Coachella.
Yes.
Did you get to see the Beyonce performance?
Yes.
Some clips of that.
Oh my gosh.
Is that like crazy?
Yes.
It's amazing what you know, what you, if you can dream that big and be able to pull it off, you know, it's amazing.
It's incredible because you never think she can get better, and then she proves it to you wrong again and again. It's like, oh, you think that was good? Watch me do this.
Yeah. Well, you know, her family's dance studios are up the street, and they rehearse right here, center staging. Yeah, no, it's all right here in the neighborhood. So
That's awesome.
It's incredible to see that. Now, I understand you've been utilizing Pledge Music to help getting your music out and doing this independently.
Yeah, we've been running that for a while now, and it's not over even after the first or second volume are released, especially after the first one, because we still have a second volume to record, so we would still love all the support that we can get on Pledge Music.
Yeah.
So we have a ton of cool merch and
some that is exclusive to Pledge.
Yeah.
So
lots of cool stuff on there.
definitely awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing that these days you can kind of retain your own ownership, your control. You can be the artist you want, and instead of having, you know, all these corporations, you know, telling you what to do and how to sing and
we're really grateful to Pledge and everyone who has pledged because they've made it possible for us to release this album.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, we're leading up to Stagecoach. Obviously, Florida Georgia Line, Garth Brooks, Keith Urban, all the big artists are going to be there.
Yeah.
When did you find out that you were going to be performing?
So they told us it was a possibility in December.
Yes.
And we're like, okay.
And they said they had a meeting about it on
Yeah.
December 3rd, and we never got
Never
a call.
heard.
Never got anything.
And then our manager, actually, he texts all of us, and it was probably about 8 in the morning.
Yeah, it was
And he
early.
goes, okay, everybody awake? We're getting on a conference call right now. We don't conference call.
No, we're like, what
let
is
alone
this?
at 8 in the morning. Because we meet every day at 3, and we're like, why can't you just tell us at 3 what's going on? And so we get all on the call. He gets our
This
publicist
was January, right?
This was
so
in
it was
January.
a while after. Yeah.
And we're like, what is going on? And he just goes, okay, I can't wait to tell you guys. We got Stagecoach. Immediately, we're crying, screaming, freaking out.
Because we really thought we didn't get it because it had
Yeah.
been so long, and that was just, it was amazing.
It was the hardest secret to keep
Yes.
ever.
Yeah.
We had to wait for them to put it on their site.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You
And
So
couldn't
we're
announce
sitting
it.
here like,
We had to
going
wait a little
Stagecoach,
over a
we're going to
month.
Stagecoach.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So obviously you're planning to slay the crowd, put on an incredible
Yes.
show.
Kill it.
What else are
goal.
your goals for the festival?
Ooh. Well, we have a lot of interviews coming up while we're there, which is really awesome. But we're also hoping to meet with other artists to see if we can connect and maybe do some other stuff with them
Yeah, and
and
maybe get some more gigs out of it,
Yeah.
too. That would be great.
and meet some more people in the industry. You know, it's
For
a
sure.
it's like Coachella. There's a bunch of people going there
Yep.
that have the same goal. They love country music right now. So
Yeah.
we're trying to get in there.
Yeah.
Get our foot through the door.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a great networking opportunity, and
Definitely.
hopefully you leave town with all sorts of new contacts
Exactly.
and new fans and all that. Now, obviously, Michael, your manager and producer, has been a big part of helping you
Yeah,
develop.
Absolutely.
Talk about why it's important to have kind of that guiding force and, you know, bringing it all together and have that kind of vision to.
We would be nothing without Michael.
We were lost when he found us,
Yeah.
but he saw potential in us. He said no several times before he wanted to work with
Yes.
us. He was like, I'm not doing it. But we persuaded him, gave him the puppy dog eyes.
Yes. Michael sees the vision before anybody else can.
Yes.
Like, sometimes even before we can. If he has an idea, we'll be like, he'll touch us, we'll be like, I don't know, maybe, but it's always right.
Yeah.
It's always the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, and we have never had anybody who's had our back to that extent.
Yeah.
He's always there to record.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
there every performance, every interview. He's sitting right there.
And I think also he's taught us how to do this stuff on our own too. So
Yeah.
eventually he doesn't need to be there all the time telling us that's not right, that's not right, that's right. So he's taught us to have that vision too, and we're continuing to learn so many lessons from him every day.
We're very blessed because, you know, sometimes when you're in the music industry, you don't have someone who's always there for you to teach you wrong from right, or, oh no, you need to do this while you're meeting these people.
Especially when you start as young as we did.
Yeah.
You
That
can be
can be
taken
scary.
advantage of very easily in the
Yes.
music industry. And we're lucky because Michael not only is a person of guidance, but he is a mentor to us. Every day we're learning something, and he's teaching us something that will carry on not only here, but in our personal lives as well.
Yeah.
He's always had a goal to make us strong, independent artists.
Yeah.
Like, that we can see our own, we know what we want to do with our own music and what kind of art we want to create in the world, that we have an idea of that.
Yeah,
We call it the Michael Anderson University. Not open to enrollment.
the MAU. Well, you know, it's great because we're, you know, big proponents of the independent, you know, world. And if you're strong independently, if other doors open up or other companies want to get involved, it's just a bonus.
Right.
It's not like you're waiting. I don't even like that term, unsigned or undiscovered.
Yeah.
What does that mean? You know, it's really every act is constantly developing at what you
Exactly.
do, and you shouldn't be waiting for somebody else to do something.
I
You
feel
know,
like it's also helpful that over the time of being independent artists, we've figured out who we are and who
Yes.
Auburn Road should be. So we don't necessarily need someone coming in and changing who Auburn Road is, because we know who we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
and how'd you come up with the name?
Our manager, Michael, came up
Okay.
with the name.
look at that, Michael again.
It's actually a street where we're from.
Yeah.
We're from Sacramento, and there's a street called Auburn Folsom Road, and he was driving on it on his way to rehearsal, and it sounds ridiculous, but it was like, it just clicked.
Yeah.
It was
We
it.
were
That
like,
was
oh,
it.
yeah.
Like, that sounds super
There's
cliche.
never
but-
Auburn Folsom. Right?
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what
we
we
thought about it.
Yeah.
Folsom Prison Blues.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Okay. Auburn Road it is. And where can we find you online?
So if you search Auburn Road Music on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. We're on everything at Auburn Road Music, and we're constantly posting covers and like keeping people up to date on our gigs and all that. So
Yeah,
We
I
have
saw
a
the
huge
living
gig
room
coming up in
sessions and all
June.
that.
yeah, we have some exciting stuff coming up. We're actually opening up for Toby Keith in
see
June.
that.
So we're so excited.
So it's going to be a
Awesome.
busy summer, so we want everybody to be able to keep up to date
Yeah.
because we would love to have as many people at our shows as we get to meet them
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I know you're learning every day, but obviously you're an inspiration to young talent that's like,
Yeah,
wow,
that's
I want to do what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
So individually, if you could give us a little, tip or two on what would how you would help young talent, what they need to focus on, or what to avoid.
I would say, because this is a lesson I've had to learn and still learning today, like when you're in the process of becoming an artist or working towards whatever you want, be okay to fail. Because when you're afraid to fail, you just mess up small and then you never learn from what you're messing up on. And then you're just stuck in a really weird place where you're never improving. So I would say don't be afraid to make mistakes because at the end of the day, you're just trying to get better. And sometimes that's a really hard thing mentally to figure out because you don't want to fail. Like you're taught you need to be perfect all the time, but that's really not the way anybody gets better. Like obviously Beyonce at some point, Beyonce failed or did something on stage that was like, what? But look where she is today. She's not afraid of failure. And she's not afraid, period, which is another thing.
I think one of the best lessons that I know we've all learned is that it's not just about singing. There's so many things behind this. And I think also finding a mentor like Michael helps because we really didn't have any idea. We were like, oh, you just go on stage and sing. Sounds good.
Then you get a record deal.
No, there's photo shoots, there's recording, and by recording I mean you have to sing it again and again and again and again if you don't want to use autotune. So there's so many steps and you just have to be willing to put in the work and just be determined enough to push through it. Like even when you fail, like Paxton is saying.
Yeah, definitely. Bad days are going to come. There's no way around it. You can have mediocre bad days, or you can have days where you feel like you want to quit. But you have to always know to push through that. But and that's kind of tacking on to what Pax said. But I would say know who you are. Know who you are as an artist and as a person. Because the more people that come into your project, the more opinions you're going to have, the more voices there are going to be on what you should be. And if you have an idea of what kind of music you want to release, but also who you are, like stay humble to whoever. Remember who got you to wherever you need to be. Like the people that would drive you from gig to gig in your hometown, those are the people that you need to be thankful for forever. Always just stay true to whoever you are and know what you want to do.
Be humble and hungry and be fearless. Those are great things. Yeah. Well, Auburn Road, congratulations. I can't wait
Thank you.
to share the world on Mustang Volume 1 and 2. See you on stage at Stagecoach Sunday.
Yes.
Thanks again for joining us. Can't wait to see you on your next time around.
Thank you so much.